Welcome to On My Mind Monday. Today is Monday, February 3rd, 2025. Got a few things on my mind today I want to talk about. I got a new tattoo. Going to talk about that. Going to talk just a little bit about the Grammys, which were yesterday. Of course, also want to talk a little bit politics because, of course, that's on my mind quite a bit. So these are just a few things that I want to talk about on my mind this week. Also, of course, we've had some horrific crashes. I'm going to mention those as well. In our brief conversation today, of course, on my mind Monday is just kind of stream of consciousness from me talking about some things that maybe I've thought about just a little bit. The first thing, of course, I'm thinking about is the itching in my arm. I'll give you just a little bit of a preview there. So for Christmas, one of the things that I got was a gift certificate for a new tattoo. And I went in this past week to get something, and I wanted to do something to remember my dad. So those of you who know me, I have this particular ink that was to remember my brother Michael, who was a Navy SEAL for many years with the nickname Sand Spider. So that was really the inspiration behind that. The new one is actually the kind of a chiropractic symbol, the angel of chiropractic, if you will. I think some people have called it other things, but the idea is that is kind of a symbol or something that I thought would be not only good art, but something to remember my dad, who is a chiropractor for so many years and had his practice in Lansing, Michigan for over 40 years. So that was just something to remember him. It was a Christmas gift that I finally was able to use, but it's on my mind a little bit because I've had to, of course, care for it, and it's starting to get in that itchy stage just a little bit. So I'm thinking about that. Well, last night was the Grammy Awards. I didn't really watch. Hannah did. My daughter watched. She actually had a watch party with a friend, and they were checking it out and everything like that. Part of the reason that I don't watch, and people say, "But you're so into music." You're wearing band shirts all the time, and you used to really want to be a singer with your life. I mean, why wouldn't you be into the Grammys and all that kind of thing? And part of it is just because the Grammys have not had the best relationship with hard rock and metal music and the kind of music that I'm really most interested in. I did see that Gojira won Best Metal Performance, and congratulations to the guys in Gojira. Uh, they're fantastic, and they've done a lot of good work over the years, and so I'm sure well deserved. But the Grammys just have not had a real place for a lot of the kinds of music that I resonate with, and so while I'm happy for Kendrick or Chappell Roan or some of these other folks that were big winners, it's just not my speed. So congrats again to those who won Grammys. I'm sure well deserved, just not my, is what it was Austin Powers, not my bag, baby. Yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. Well, I wanted to talk just a little bit about these plane crashes, and we've had these crashes that have happened, and you've got people wanting to politicize these things, on one side going, oh, this is about DEI, and the other side saying, oh, this is about deregulation or things to that nature. And I guess I want to take this back to the conversation that I had a little bit with regard to the fires in Los Angeles. Can we pump the brakes a little bit? Can we just slow our roll before trying to assign blame and do hot takes and all this other kind of stuff? Innocent people died, right? You had people that were on their way back to see family and back home, and just this is tragic stuff. Whether you're talking about DC or Philly, either way, tragic in every way. Can we not maybe sit in the grief for just a little bit, understand that this is a tragedy, understand that with all of these kinds of crashes, there will be an investigation. And that investigation will bring to light all kinds of things, hopefully, and we'll just get a better understanding. It just could have been where somebody maybe didn't do their job all the way, or something happened, and we know that, and it's tragic, and we want to get to the bottom of it. I get that, but can we just stop with the hot takes on these kinds of tragedies? Um, Instead of being so quick to assign blame and assume some kind of moral high ground or political high ground, can we maybe just understand that there's a human element to this, and that these things will be discovered in time, and that maybe right now, in the kind of the immediacy of what has happened, maybe now isn't the time for this kind of rhetoric. So that's just all I'm going to really say on that. I just think it's best to let the truth play out, because it will, if we just give it time and let the process go through. Let's trust the process, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Well, another thing that kind of sprung to mind, I've mentioned before that I am not what anyone would consider MAGA, though I do have a lot of agreement with what I'm seeing from the new administration. However, one of the things that I will say is that as a conservative, kind of in the Reagan conservative mold, who believes in a strong national defense, and I'm pro-life and pro-family, and low taxes and low regulation. But I also, as a conservative, believe in free trade. And the current administration, though it has some conservative policies, conservatism is a lot older than myself. It predates me, and it certainly predates Donald Trump as well. He didn't invent it, and he is not a conservative person, though he may enact certain conservative policies. And so, looking at this, the whole tariffs and the idea of trade wars, this is something to consider. And while there's, again, a lot that I've been optimistic about, the whole tariff thing, just not conservative policy, not good policy, not good economic policy, and the kind of thing that really just the best economists that I've seen, and folks that seem to know what they're talking about, really come down against tariffs, as do I. I believe in free trade, and especially with respect to our neighbors. 25% tariffs on Canada, 25% tariffs on Mexico, when you're only doing 10% on China. That really doesn't make any sense. The Canadians, I think the fentanyl crisis, and they're trying to use fentanyl as kind of the lever for this, they're having to deal with that issue too. Now, I have seen where Mexico is trying to do some things to bring troops to the border and maybe put a pause on those tariffs and all that kind of thing. And so, maybe this is just being used as kind of a stick to try and get concessions out of these governments. That may be the case. I think that you probably didn't have to go there to do it, because tariffs really are not going to help the American people long run. In the long run, in long term, these things are going to be painful for the American people, and you're not going to get the kind of concessions from foreign governments, I think, for them to just accept these tariffs and not put tariffs on American goods. And quite frankly, when you tariff these things, that just means the prices are going to go up for people here. Companies are not just going to bear that and go, well, I guess it's just the cost of doing business. No, they're going to pass that cost along to the people, to the consumer. So again, there's been some good policy, some conservative policy. This is not conservative policy. This is bad policy. And so that's something that I'm against. Now, I will give the Trump administration its kudos. I really feel like they, in many ways, have stabbed the pro-life movement in the back in so many things. But the recent executive orders having to do with federal dollars going for abortion, and those executive orders have been completely on point. I completely agree. As an abolitionist who believes that this is really the civil rights issue of our lifetime, I, I have to applaud the administration, and I'm very happy for what they're doing in that regard. So again, it's like with many things, a mixed bag, but I remain optimistic overall. Though I've said I will speak up. I will say if something is maybe not the best policy out there. So those are just a few things that were on my mind on this Monday, and this is February the 3rd, 2025, and I'll see you next week.